Hey guys, Justin Briscoe. I am a real estate investor here in Denison, Texas. Today, I want to talk about why a large part of our portfolio is becoming Airbnb properties. The main reason we got into Airbnb short-term rentals was because we have our cabin at our 17-acre property. At the time, it took us a long time to build it because we did a lot of the work ourselves, so we built it pretty cheap. We wanted a house that was different from our main house, and we could kind of get away and be on some land and have the boys and the kids out to where we could be fishing, just kind of hanging out outside. So that's why we call it a cabin. I mean, all reality, it's not really a cabin. It's just that's what we kind of called it from the beginning, was our cabin on the 17 acres. We were out there every single weekend, just about. For the first year, we were out there a lot. There came a time to where we just weren't visiting the cabin as often, and there's a lot of expenses that were involved with it, between property taxes, insurance. We keep the place very well manicured as far as mowing. I mean, it's 17 acres, and we're probably finished mowing 7-8 acres of it. I mean, more than half of it gets finished mowed just so we can keep it really nice. And so I've got guys out there all the time just keeping it in good shape. So there's just a lot of expenses that went along with it. And as time passed and we were finding ourselves not going out there as often, we'd had a lot of people suggest to us, you should put it on Airbnb and then just block it for the weekends that you want to go out there. We finally took that advice and we put it up on Airbnb, and we didn't know what we were doing. Airbnb was new to us. We had heard about it. We'd gone on a few vacations and personally had rented some Airbnb spaces, so we were somewhat familiar with it, but from an investment rental, short-term rental perspective, it was completely new to us. We found ourselves having a lot of success with it, and pretty much every single weekend was booking up. Even during the week it was booking out, so we had a very, very high percentage of occupancy. And from my perspective, what that normally means, if you're booked the majority of the month, your prices might be a little too low. And so we're always playing with those numbers, trying to find that sweet spot. Honestly, our vacancy or our occupancy percentage we try to shoot for is kind of that 60 to 80% range. And so right now we're making about $295 a night on the weekends, which I always tell you guys, we count our weekends as Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And then during the week, we're 150, $200. So we just found ourselves doing really, really well with that property. And that was kind of our introduction to Airbnb. So then we took that same business plan and we replicated that into some of our other homes, because we are real estate investors. We've been doing this for 10 years. And as we build new construction homes, we kind of cherry picked the properties that we thought would do well on Airbnb. And for me, to do well and to be successful on Airbnb, it comes down to location. It comes down to the space being a unique space. Our cabin out there, it's on 17 acres. It has beautiful views of Oklahoma. We got the pond down below. So it's a very unique property. The next properties that we used for Airbnb were the 3 on Myrick that we have. What were unique about those are just kind of the way we finished them out on the interior, just the layout. The location, we're 2 blocks from Main Street, downtown Denison. That was kind of the uniqueness fact that made us choose those units in particular. And so we threw those up on Airbnb, and we've been very successful with those too. We just kind of continued to add properties to that, and here we are at the 40 acres. We're building the tiny home community is what we call it. It's the 6 tiny homes. You guys can check out our other videos. We have, I think right now, 20 episodes, pretty much showing you guys the last 6-7 months of construction, from literally the dirt work to clearing to foundation to where we're at to now. You guys can go back and look at some of those episodes. But right now we're getting really close to getting ready to paint and getting sod down and all that good stuff. So hopefully these will be hitting the short-term rental market here pretty quickly. Yeah, if you guys are looking for advice on being successful with Airbnb, I think kind of the location and how unique is it. Are you close to downtown area? Are you close to the lake? Are you close to tourism types of things? Is your house finished out really neat? When people are on Airbnb and they're searching all the different properties that are in the Denison area, ours typically kind of stand out a little bit more than maybe other properties. Don't get me wrong, you look up Denison and there's just a ton of really cool Airbnb properties here in Denison. But with ours, I think ours are also really cool, and you look at our pictures and our description and they stand out maybe compared to the majority of the Airbnb properties. And so, of course, you want to be like, just like Google, you want to be on the first page. When people are searching Denison, you want them to see your properties at the top of the list, because the quicker they see your property, the more likely you are to get booked. Certain things are just always adjusting the nightly rates so that we're competitive, having really good pictures, having description that really kind of sells the property. Those are just some of the kind of key factors, but then also just the space being unique and a location where it's at are a lot of the things that help us be successful. We try to think of everything. I mean, think of if you're going on vacation and you're going into an Airbnb, I mean, you want everything to be there. A nice kitchen, a nice bathroom. You want the mattresses to be comfortable. You want the furniture to be comfortable. My wife and I have gone on Airbnbs before, and it seems silly. An uncomfortable couch can kind of ruin the experience, because us as a family, we spend a lot of the time on the couch, like in the evenings, watching Netflix or whatever as we're settling down, and we're sitting on a very uncomfortable couch. It just kind of ruins the experience. Something as weird as that, I know that's weird. We've been to Airbnbs where beds are very, very uncomfortable, and it kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth. I mean, yeah, they got our original business up front, but repeat business is a big thing, and so we're very unlikely will it be that we will, if we go back to that town or that area, we'll rent that space again. And so we try to do certain things that promote good reviews, because when people are looking at our spaces, they're looking for reviews, and they're looking for things like, hey, they had comfortable beds, they had everything we needed, we were cooking stuff in the kitchen, they had all the utensils and all the bowls, and they had all their towels. You want your reviews to kind of represent what your unit's like, because when people are looking at your listing, they're seeing the pictures, they're seeing how you've sold it within the description, but then they're also reading reviews. They're reading the good ones and they're reading the bad ones. Let the customers themselves kind of sell the property for you. That's been very successful for us. So we try really, really hard to not get bad reviews. And unfortunately, there's things that are our fault that promote bad reviews. And then other times there's things that are out of our control that can promote bad reviews. And then some of the time you just get irrational people. You have someone that just comes in and they say, I didn't like how the neighbor's house across the street looked, and they'll leave us a 4-star review versus a 5. I mean, it can be very, very silly things, and so that can negatively affect you. But with Airbnb, you really want to try to stay above that 4.8 rating. It goes up to a 5. If you're above 4.8 and you meet a few other requirements, you can be what's called a super host, which it's good to be a super host on Airbnb. Airbnb is more likely to promote your property and have it higher up on the list. So I kind of started why we got into short-term rentals and Airbnb. The reason we're transitioning more and more things into Airbnb, and we're kind of transitioning out of the long-term rentals, just because of the success we've had. I've got houses in town that if it's a long-term rental, it's gonna rent for $1,200 a month. That same unit on Airbnb through short-term rental, it could rent for $3,000 or $4,000 a month on some of our better months. And so it has the potential of being a lot more profitable. Yes, there's a little bit more work involved. There's some more expenses. The insurance goes up a little bit. Question I do get, and something that does concern me a little bit, is, well, what if, Justin, you talk about in your videos how the market's gonna turn and how we're gonna see a dip just in the economy in general, and that is something that concerns me, and that's why we've been as conservative as what we've been, and we've cashed out on a lot of properties. At the end of the day, if these properties are no longer profitable on a short-term basis, they'll still be good long-term rentals. Everyone's still gonna have to rent. I mean, normally when there's a down market, you typically have more renters. I would like to keep these as Airbnb spaces, but that's kind of our backup plan, is if we're not able to do that because we see a downturn and people aren't vacationing and using Airbnbs as much, the goal would be just to turn them into long-term rentals, and we would still be profitable. We wouldn't be as profitable as Airbnb, but we're still gonna be profitable. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that go into making you successful on Airbnb. But so the 3 points, first point being location. And what I mean location is just being close to cool things that people that are coming to Denison and visiting Denison are close to. Let's say, for example, Main Street. There's a lot of stuff to do on our Main Street, lots of cool restaurants and stores to go into. You got Lake Texoma that would draw to those. Here at our tiny home community and our 17 acres where we have the cabin and the tiny home, we're outside city limits. We're really close to city, but we're outside city limits, and we've got cool views, and we're kind of in the middle of the woods here. And so it's those type of things as far as location that make these properties unique, that helps us with Airbnb. The other one is just kind of the second thing would be the uniqueness. And what I mean by uniqueness is just the way we finish out the properties, the pictures that we show, The things that we provide between comfortable couches and TVs and providing all the utensils and all the things that you would need at a stay, that's something that seems to have helped us quite a bit. And then the third thing is just kind of working that Airbnb algorithm. I mean, I don't have it figured out, but I've got certain things that I do that I feel like make our properties a little more popular, and that's keeping our reviews up. That's huge. That's probably one of the bigger things that go towards the Airbnb algorithm. So that keeps us as a super host. Those are kind of the three main things that I believe have allowed for us to be successful in Airbnb. So if you guys have any questions or anything, leave some comments down below. Ask me any questions. If you have any constructive criticism you'd like to give, I'm definitely open to that. Like I said earlier, my name's Justin Briscoe. We're the Briscoe Homes. We're real estate investors here in Denison, Texas. We've got over, I think, 70 episodes we've put out here in the last year. So you guys go check those out. If you're enjoying these videos and these episodes, please hit the like button. And if you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. We got over 1,000 subscriptions, I think a little over a week ago, and now I think we're gonna hit 1,200 today. We kind of hit that plateau to where we were getting real slow and then just like blew past it, and we're fixing to be at the 1,200 subscriptions, I would say, by the end of today. The other big thing that we're kind of looking for, we do want to get monetized. We need to hit the 1,000 subscriptions, which we've done, and we need to get our view hours, which right now, as of today, we're like at 2,200 view hours, and that's grown really quickly here in the last 2 weeks. And we need to get to that 4,000. That's gonna be kind of the spot to where we need to be, to where we get monetized, and then hopefully YouTube will start promoting us even more, because then not only am I making money, YouTube's making money, and so there's an incentive there for them to push our videos a little bit more. So yeah, like I said, you guys subscribe. I appreciate all the support we've been giving up to this point. Hit the like button, and any questions, just leave a comment down below. And if you guys want to check out any of our current 7 Airbnbs, check out the links down below. By the end of the year, we're gonna have these 6 up, and then we may have 2 or 3 out at the lake. So if you guys wanna check those out, look us up. You get on Airbnb, put in Denison, Texas. You're probably gonna see the majority of our properties in the first page or 2. But yeah, also check out the link down below. Until next time, peace.